Welcome to Who Let the Dogs Out, the podcast designed to help you enjoy life with your best friends. Join us each week as we help families across the country do just that. I'm your host, Corey, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Sally.
And today, we've been telling y'all we're going to be having a guest on the podcast. Well, we finally do have a guest on the podcast, and it is Mia. Mia, would you like to say hello to the people? Okay, she said hello, if you could hear her sniffing. Anyways, Sally said, "What, Corey, you know what? We should have Mia on the podcast today." And I'm like, I don't even know how we would do that. And so anyways, I just pulled up a chair. She jumped up, and she's ready to be on the podcast. And now she's
cleaning the
licking the table. So thank you so much, Mia. Okay, on a real note, guys, today we've got a Q&A episode for you where y'all write in the questions, and then Sally puts them to me, and then we answer them. If you want to send in a question, you're more than welcome to. You can write into
Sally at wonderdogtraining.com.
Yep, Sally at wonderdogtraining.com, or you can hit me on Instagram, Corey at Corey from Wonderdog on Instagram. So at Corey from Wonderdog on Instagram. So if you got a question or you know somebody with a question, have them write it in, and we'll answer it on the podcast. We've got a couple other formats. We'll skip all that today and just jump straight into the show. Before we do jump into the show, though, I was going to say, if y'all could like, follow, subscribe on YouTube.
Yes, please.
We're trying to grow the channel or the page, whatever thing is called. And what we're trying to spread the word with families across the country and help people enjoy life with their best friends and get, good quality dog training information out to people at no cost, right? And so every time you share the show, you follow it, whatever it is, it boosts it up so that way it can be seen by more and more people. So anyways, that being said, if you get something out of the show, please feel free to follow, share it, etc. I guess, do we have anything else before we jump into questions?
I got to ask you something about Sully.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so
Mia, do you want to answer?
Mia, if you've got any insights to this, please help me. So if I ignore, Sully's becoming a little bit of an attention seeker.
Oh, really?
And yes. So
that was sarcasm.
Yes. He's not like me at all. But if I ignore him, he started verbalizing.
Like barking?
What? No, he goes, and then I'll look at him and go, what do you want? And then look away, and then he'll go, oh. Where's that coming from?
Do you mean like Mia grunting? Whenever she'll go,
A bit like, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it does all these very odd tones. It sounds like he's talking to me, so we have a conversation.
What are you doing?
Mia, is he having a conversation with me, do you think?
It definitely could be. It definitely
But sometimes he does bark for attention.
I do think that, that is, in my opinion, much more pleasant than barking.
Oh, yeah, we do have some of if I'm ignoring him, he'll bark at me, but it's just so cute. I'm going to have to get some video footage of it because it is just so cute.
So it's not really a problem. You just wanted it to.
No, I just wondered.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, this is a new thing that started happening with him, and I wanted to ask you about it because it's not like training issue, it's personality issue.
I think Mia wants to exit the podcast.
Mia,
do you want to leave?
Are bored already?
Do you want to leave the podcast? Okay, you can get down. All right, you can get down. You can get down.
Bye, Mia.
See you, Mia. Get down. Boop. All right.
Okay, so that guest's not that interested.
She walked off the show. She was like completely uninterested in what we had to say.
Done.
Yeah, she's like, I'm done. I'm out. Anyways, okay. Well, guest number 1 on the podcast. Check. Anyways, yeah, Mia does the same thing. I mean, as you've seen and heard over the years, if you don't pay attention to her, or if you're she wants you to throw the ball or something like that, or I don't know, she has a tennis ball stuck under the couch, whatever the thing is.
Oh,
like
I love that when she's
instead of barking though, it's much more pleasant. Like I said, it's more like a something like that.
But something else, you do that as well.
What? Make the noises at her?
Yeah, you go,
Yeah, the dog. Yeah, please. Good.
So she just takes after Dad, really. There you go.
Mia is back at the podcast, but now she's under the desk at her
she's
little table.
Shy.
Yeah, she's at her little table.
Camera shy, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, it's much more pleasant, than like nuisance barking and stuff.
I just wanted to let you know that this dog's personality is coming out, and he's just, it's really funny, and he gets in your face. It's not like that. See, he goes, so especially if he's up on the couch near me.
Yeah.
And then he like looks at you directly. It's like these piercing eyes, like you will take notice of me. So yeah, it's just cute.
That is cute.
Yeah. Does anybody else's dogs do that, or is it just my quirky little animal?
Yeah, if it's just Sully, let her know in the comments.
Yeah.
If your dog does it too, let her know in the comments.
Yeah. Send us videos as well.
That'd be
Love
fun.
it.
Yeah, send us some videos.
Love it. Well, anyway.
All right.
Less of that.
We got some questions.
I do have some questions,
All right,
and
let's do it.
they're a little different this time, which is cool.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one comes from one of our clients, Wendy. Her dog is a little reactive at times.
Okay.
And she asked, when she's out and about, and it happened to her recently, there was a loose dog in the neighborhood that came rushing up to her, of course, and then
That set off her dog.
set off her dog.
Yeah.
What does she says, what do I do?
Okay. I'm trying to think. I guess it kind of just, depends on the dog. But if I was out walking Mia, I'm just trying to think like what I would do if I was out walking Mia and a dog ran up to me. Because I don't know if there's just like a textbook answer here that's like, oh, this is exactly what you do in this scenario. I know Wendy's dog pretty well, and he heals pretty good. So
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd probably do. If it was a random dog in the neighborhood that I didn't know, I would probably try to like step in front of the dog and pull the dog behind me
Okay.
and block my dog from the strange dog or something. And then start yelling really loud at the other dog.
Good.
I'd go mom voice, dad voice, teacher voice, military voice, I don't know, whatever your version of loud voice is, like loud, deep, big voice. And I would just start going, no, just yelling real loud. I don't know, maybe if I wasn't holding on to the leash, I don't know, maybe making my arms real big and wide, like to like make myself look bigger than I really am or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'd maybe kind of run towards the dog a little bit to scare them off or whatnot. Most dogs, if you press them like that, they're going to back up.
Back off.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Like nothing terrible happened apart from the dog
Just scared her.
starts reacting.
Yeah.
But, you just never know, do you?
Yeah.
She did. Wendy also told me that sometimes her neighbour's dog gets loose and runs over to them at the house, and so
Yeah, but that's like different if you know your neighbor's dog.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
different if it's just a random dog in the neighborhood. I guess that's what I would do if like a dog is like running towards me or something.
Gotcha.
If there was just a loose dog and my dog is reactive to it, I would just train it. I misunderstood the question, I guess.
Would you suggest that people carry like a pet corrector spray or
Yeah.
anything like that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I
know
that-
voice is the best thing because you don't have to carry that, do you? You've got it with you.
Yeah. If my dog was just being reactive to a dog that's out though, I don't know, there's a dog walking in somebody's front yard, like I don't know, 5-6 houses down or something, and my dog starts being reactive, I'll just do what we talked about on the, 2 podcasts ago, whenever I would start working on the reactivity and correcting the smaller behaviors that lead up to the lunging and stuff. What my first answer was when I was saying make yourself look big and yelling and stuff, that would be more if like a dog was like charging us, I guess I would say. No.
Yeah.
So like I said, misunderstood the context of the question.
No, well, this dog was coming up to her charging. It was totally loose in the neighborhood. She's out walking. This dog comes running up. Her dog starts reacting.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's like, what do I do? Because
Yeah.
we've said before, like with reactivity, you just keep walking, don't sit. So I think it was a little bit of,
Yeah.
do I keep
another one too,
walking,
though, is
or-
just being like cognizant of your surroundings and being aware of your surroundings. Like, I know me, if I'm always looking around and keeping my head up and stuff. If I see a dog that's loose, like out in somebody's neighborhood, whether I'm walking with a client's dog or I'm walking Mia's dog or Mia around or something like that, if I'm walking, I'm just gonna turn around because like
and go.
I'd rather just not risk it, because
Yeah.
like I don't know the other dog. I don't know if
Yeah.
they're friendly. I don't know if they're not friendly. If they aren't friendly, do they have all their shots? All the
Absolutely.
questions that run through your mind. You don't really know. So avoidance would be the best strategy, I'd say. Like if you could avoid it at all costs or at all possible, then avoid it. Just turn around, go back away the other way around the block or whatever it is. If you can't though, and it's already happening, and my dog's just reacting, the dog's not really responding to me, I'll train the dog. If the dog's charging me, like I said, I'm going to look really big.
Yeah.
I'm going to, be loud, yelling, things like that. I'm going to be trying to get the dog away.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically
Wonderful. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one, again, totally different from the first one.
All right.
Okay. My puppy chases the ball, gets it, runs back with it, but then won't give it to me. What can I do so we can continue to play?
I love this question. Okay, so if you're playing fetch with your puppy, one, it's really fun that your puppy will get it and then bring it back. Like you're pretty much at fetch at that point. Now we just need to get your dog to let it go.
Yeah.
A couple things you can do off the top of my head. One is get a second toy. So like get 2 tennis balls, So if you're throwing a tennis ball, get a second one. And then whenever your dog gets back, start throwing the other one, in your hand and seeing if they'll drop the one they have to go get the other one. And as soon as they drop the one that they have, then you can throw the other one, right?
Yeah.
That'd be the first way I would maybe try. The second way would be like just grabbing the tennis ball and then just reaching over your dog's mouth and like over the top of it rather, and just kind of like pressing it and like pulling the ball out. And then the key though is as soon as you get the thing from the dog, you then throw it, and the reward for letting it go is going to get it again. Yeah. So that way they don't feel like they're losing it by letting it go.
Yeah.
The reward for letting it go is going to get it again.
That we can play it again. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then I'll try to pair a word too with it. So like if I'm holding let's go back to the first example. If I'm holding like a second ball or something like that, and if I'm holding like a second ball and then I get the dog to drop it, I'll pair the word leave it or out or drop or something like that with the dog actually spitting it out.
Yeah.
So it starts pairing the word with the action of letting it go.
Yep.
And then the second one, and that's the reward for this new command that we just created, right? Same thing with the other one. Like if I have to grab the tennis ball, reach over the dog's mouth and pull the tennis ball out, I'll say the command as I'm letting it go.
Yeah.
I guess a third option, this would probably be like my least recommended. If you have like a really drivey dog, like a dog that's like, I don't know, like a retriever that really wants to go get it and stuff. If you needed to, the first 2 didn't work or something like that, you can maybe like grab under their flat collar and kind of pull up a little bit and then grab the tennis ball, and that would like kind of make their mouth start like chattering a little bit where you could pull the tennis ball out or whatnot. Okay. Same thing though, you want to throw it as the reward for letting it go and still pair a command with it. But you could try something like that too.
Okay, so I get where you're coming from. So the reward for releasing is that we throw it again and you can go chase it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do like a food treat.
I guess you could do a food treat too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never really consider that because I've never really personally done that.
Yeah.
I've traded, I guess, dogs' treats, like puppies' treats for stuff they shouldn't have or whatnot. Like, hey, like let this go. Like, with like a really young puppy or something like that. But yeah, for fetch, I don't really do that. I'd normally either just use another ball or
and just
take
keep
the
that
ball from the dog or something
going.
like that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I typically wouldn't like I was saying. You can kind of pull up on the dog's collar a little bit to get them to let go, but I typically won't use corrections early on in playing fetch for leave it or let it go or something until the dog has a really firm understanding. Because I also want to make sure that if I give the dog a correction, I don't want to make them pair the correction with playing the game, you know? So that'd be something to keep in mind too. If you're using corrections, try more fun manner and then reward based to get the dog to let it go, just to keep the enthusiasm for the game. Another thing with fetch too, if some people in line with this question, something that people ask me a lot is my dog will go get it and then they won't bring it back. How do I fix that? Or, we'll also get sometimes they want to play fetch and sometimes they don't. And so I think those would be 2 good things to address too. So, if you're playing, your dog will go get it, but won't bring it back to you. One thing I'll do is I'll put the dog on a 20 or 30 foot leash, and then I'll get the dog really excited. So I'll start moving around and tossing the ball or the tug from side to side or whatnot. Just get the dog really excited, really hyped up to play it, where they're I want to go get this. And then I'll throw it 10 or 15 feet and I'll let the long leash just kind of glide through my hand like this.
Yeah.
And as soon as they grab it, I'll bend at the hips, I'll break at the hips, and I'll start kind of backing up, and I'll make it really fun for the dog to come all the way back to me, right? And if I need to, I'll kind of reel the dog in. But I'm ideally wanting the dog to want to come to me. And as soon as they get to me, I'll snatch the tennis ball, throw it again. And then it's very quick.
Yeah.
But they start to build over time. They'll start to build the association with once I get it, I bring it back, right? So I'll throw it. I'll get them really excited, throw it. And then I'll go, Roscoe, come. And I'll bend and I'll start, come on, up, 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 up. You know, get them really excited to get back to me. Boom, snatch a tennis ball, throw it again. And then they're like, oh, wait. And like, it's just so fast. Yeah. But you're pairing up. Hey, when you get it, you bring it back, right? And it's going to take a lot of doing that like on a leash before they'll be willing to do it off leash. But you can build the association that, hey, when I go grab the tennis ball or the tug or whatever it is, I bring it back to the human, right? Yeah. And then you make it really fun. The next one is like sometimes your dog wants to play, sometimes they don't. One thing I would say is like, if you want to be able to play fetch with your dog, like don't just keep toys out in the backyard for them or whatnot. So like if you're going to play fetch, like, or if you want to play fetch, like that's a big goal of yours, pick up the toys in the backyard. So that way, whenever you go out in the backyard with them and you bring a toy, it's a fresh and exciting thing, right? Yeah. It's a fresh and exciting thing because what we want is we want them to associate this with like, maybe like a limited time opportunity, I guess you could say, where it's like, hey, you know, dad's out here. I'm only going to be able to play fetch with him while he's out here. There's not toys all around that I can like, oh, I can get it now or I can do it later or whatnot. So you pick up all the toys and then you make playing and like an exciting like activity that you set out to actually do intentionally with the dog. Yeah. So that way, whenever they see the toy come out, they're like, woohoo, let's play. You know, let's do this.
Playtime with dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
And then the key there is like stop while it's still peak fun. So like, because if you are playing fetch and then your dog gets tired of it and then they just are like, yeah, whatever, I don't care anymore. Yeah. Then, you know, but if, I don't really know what I was going to say there. If you stop though while it's still fun, it'll leave them wanting more. So then the next time that you come outside, they'll be like, oh yeah, I want to come.
We're going to play that again.
Exactly. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So those are just a few helpful tips when it comes to fetch. Ooh. So they'll leave it like we talked about or drop it out, whatever word you want to use for that. Putting them on a leash and then stopping while it's still fun and then picking up all the toys and stuff. Yeah. You haven't gotten to meet them yet. I'm trying to convince them to come out to the game. So we've got a family right now with 2 5-month-old golden retrievers and their brother and sister, and they're a ton of fun. Anyways, I just introduced them to the flirt pole a few weeks ago, and I mean, they go crazy for it. But they have all sorts of toys in the backyard, but whenever this comes out, it's their favorite. And I was telling their owners yesterday, I'm like, the reason they like this so much compared to just like the, you know, the little soccer ball that has the little handles coming out of it and stuff. Yeah. The reason I like this so much more than that is because like this is one, a limited time opportunity. They don't get to play with this all the time. It's not just out all the time. And 2, it's attached to a human, right? So to play with it, they have to engage with the human, you know? And so it's like a really big deal and it's a really fun thing whenever they pull the flirt pole out, you know? I guess that kind of just goes in line with like what I was saying earlier about like making it a special thing. Yeah. So like this one toy is a special thing, you know, playing fetch is a special thing, you know, where they're excited about it. It's like, hey, this comes out and I get to do this now, right? Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of rambled on that one, but
no, that's good.
Hopefully that'll help somebody out.
The one when you were talking about when they don't, you throw it and they don't fetch it. It just reminded me of Mabel. So
yeah, you throw it and she'd look at you like,
as a black Labrador, had no drive.
Her genetic coding
whatsoever.
Her genetic coding was off. The retriever gene did not pass along.
Couch potato gene.
Yeah,
but I used to throw the ball and she'd like watch the ball go, see where it landed, and then like looked at me as though to say,
why do you do that?
Are you going to go fetch it? Because like I'm not.
That's so funny.
Like, really?
Because Mia's the opposite. I mean, if it's moving, she'll go get it. Like it doesn't matter what it is. If it's moving, she's going to go pick it up. Yeah.
No, Mabel was just like, oh, that went a long way, didn't it? That time, good throw. It was like so funny. Yeah. Bless her.
Do you remember the one time whenever I was getting like Lenny excited and he like randomly went and picked up a toy. This was before you got Sully, but you had like a few toys. You'd like try randomly buying toys for him just to see if he'd play with them, and he never did. No. And then I got him really hyped up and excited one day, and he went and picked up a toy, and we kind of started playing tug of war with it.
It was like, yes.
Yeah, we're making progress.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Mabel was not a dog. I don't know what the heck she was, but she wasn't a dog.
Couch potato puppy.
Yeah. Just so laid back. Anyway, okay, so next question. I want to start running with my dog. What tips do you have for doing this safely for both of us? So a bit of a context for this one. The weather's really hot everywhere. This guy goes running in a morning and just generally goes by himself. Yeah. But now wants to use the opportunity to use it for exercise time for the dog.
Yeah.
but never done it before.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say if you're going early morning, you're good in terms of like heat and stuff
Yeah.
like that. If you're concerned about the heat, I'd go back and listen to like I think it's episode 9 where we talked about everything to do like heat protocols
heat
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go listen to that if you're concerned about the heat or whatnot. But when it comes to running with your dog, yeah, I would just say, I mean, it depends, I guess, on what the dog's doing, but like, there's not really like a need to like build up or practice and you just take the dog running, you know, like then we can like get into like specific like problems. Like, okay, so, cause you can take the dog running, even if the dog pulls, like that's a problem to fix, but there's not really like a build up there. You just take the dog running. Now there are certain problems that people encounter when they're running. So like one, the dog like pulling them. So I would say we could train like loose leash walking or heeling or something like that. I mean, for that, you know, it's pretty simple. We use, you know, a prong collar normally for stuff like that. And then work on loose leash, heeling, you know, teaching the dog like we're walking you, you're not walking us, things like that, right? And then from there, once their dog has that down, then we can, you know, start picking up the pace and it's the same concept. We're just moving a lot faster, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing I'd say that people normally deal with when they're running is that the dog will just start like sniffing stuff behind them. So then they have to like stop or keep going. It depends. I would normally say like if I'm running and my dog just like stops to sniff something, if the dog's attached to a leash, I mean, and I keep running, they have to move with me.
They have to go with you.
So I would just say like keep running and, you know, they won't do that too often. Another one would be if you're teaching your dog to like, you know, heel or loose leash or something like that, and then you're running with them. If they start, you know, lagging behind you, you can give them like a little tug forward to say, hey, come on, keep it going, and then just keep running with them. But overall, there's not really like a need to like build up or like practice.
So there's not like today we're going to run a mile together, and then next day we can do a little. A dog should just be able to go for it.
Yeah, in terms of so I actually, pardon me. In terms of like how far can a dog run, I don't really know if I have an answer for that. I think like running on a trail or running on grass is going to be, they're probably going to be able to go further distances than they would if you run on concrete. Like I know for me, like I can run a lot further on a track or on a trail than I can on pavement. Or it's not further. It's just that I feel a lot better. My knees and joints feel a lot better on on grass or a trail or a track or something like than it does on concrete. So your dog will probably be able to go faster or longer rather if it's on a softer surface. In terms of like how long they can run though, I don't really know. I don't have an answer for that per se. Cause like we have a client right now that's like, super into like running and biking and stuff like that. Very fit guy. And he's got like a little 5-month-old golden doodle puppy and he's like wanting to take his dog running. And he asked me the other day, like, how long can the dog run with me? And it's like, dude, I actually I don't know the answer. I need to do some more research on that. Like at what age are their hips developed enough to like go running this far or this, or, you know, I don't know the answer to that question. I would say like if your dog is mature enough, probably like over a year, I mean, a mile should be fairly easy for most dogs. Like you're probably not going to
not run them till they're absolutely exhausted. Be mindful of.
You're probably going to be. It's probably tough to get like a mile with like a bulldog though, or like a Frenchie or something like that. But you know, if you have like a fairly athletic dog or whatnot, a mile should probably be no problem. And then it might be like humans where you need to like kind of build it up over time or whatnot because there are dogs that are conditioned to run like far distances. You know, like I've done some races or whatnot where people run with their dogs or whatnot, and they told me afterwards, I was asking them just like, how they did it or whatnot. And they said they just kind of slowly build it up over time or whatnot. And the weather does make an impact on that. So, but overall, you should just be able to just start running.
What do you think about the leashes that I think you attach to you as rather than carrying the leash in your hand? Does it like attach to your belt or
I forgot to say that. Yeah, that's a great point. I think those things are great. You can buy like a leash specifically for that where like the dog can like run and you can kind of set the distance where they can be either A little in front of you or B next to you. If you have like a 6-foot leash or something like that, and some people you can make it a loop and then step through it and keep the dog at kind of like a heel position or whatnot. So there's a few different things you could do there, but I do think those are helpful, especially if you want to run like hands free where you're not holding on to the leash. I think that's a good tip. I forgot to say that, so good catch.
Cool. Well, that leads into this next one because I do have an extra question for you today.
Bonus question,
and it's to do with leash.
All right.
So, this person has 2 dogs, wants to walk them together. Should she have separate leashes, or
Get a splitter.
or the splitter, the connection, so she has one leash but onto the two dogs.
Yeah, I'm going to probably go for like 90% of people should go 2 leashes.
2 leashes?
Yeah, 2 leashes. And the reason for that is a few. Like, one, if your dogs are having any trouble with like pulling at all, like you can't correct one for pulling if they're on a splitter.
Yeah.
If there's any sort of reactivity, you can't correct one if they're on a splitter. If you're working on heel, it might be easier to get 2 dogs to heel on the same side with a splitter maybe, but I can walk both dogs on both sides, my left side and my right side.
Yeah.
So there's a number of those. Like I said, a number of reasons that I'd say walk them on 2 separate leashes. I've seen a splitter work for a few dogs, not a few, but like a few clients with 2 dogs over the years. Their dogs are really good at walking. They don't really have any problems walking. They don't want to hold 2 leashes. And ultimately it's their walk at the end of the day. So if they want to, walk them on a splitter, then that's fine. But for most people, I'd probably say 2 leashes is going to be best until your dogs are really good. And then if you want to put them on a splitter, sure. But for most people, I'm going to say, you should go 2 leashes. Yeah.
When I used to walk Mabel and Lenny, I did try one of those splitters, but they then ended up getting like tangled up.
Yeah, there's one leash now that I've seen where it's a split leash, but then it also like flips and rotates and stuff where they don't get tangled. So if one goes under the other one, it'll flip and stuff.
That's a good one because those 2 were just like.
Which is good, I guess, if you are going to walk your dog on a splitter. Yeah, you wouldn't want them to get too tangled up or whatnot, where they're just walking glued side by side. Yeah.
And undoing them again. And
yeah. So I guess if you were going to use a splitter, then you'd probably want to get one that doesn't tangle up very easy. But overall, I'd probably say most people should just walk on 2 separate leashes. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, that's all I have. Those 4 questions.
Okay.
Good ones.
Cool. Well, yeah, that was great. If y'all want to ask some questions and send some questions in, you can write them into Sally@wonderdogtraining.com. Feel free to send her a question and she'll put it to me on the podcast like we just did today. So feel free to write in some questions about problems that you're having, goals, scenarios, things like that. We'd love to answer your questions. So feel free to do that. And then, we've already kind of said it, but please share the show. If you know a friend, family, colleague, or something like that could get value out of the show, feel free to share it with them. Our goal here is to help families enjoy life with their best friends without all the frustrations, like we said, opening the show. So please share it, and then please just follow, subscribe, whatever it is on whatever platform you're on, so that way we can kind of keep growing the audience of the show. We'll get boosted in the algorithm, and we'll get shown to more people. Because we really enjoy doing these, and we want to just get the message out to even more and more people. And then if they need help with training in person, what website can they go to?
They can go to the WonderDogTraining site.com.
Yep.
If you're wanting to check out in person, there's a form on there. You can fill that out. And either myself or Alyssa will give you a call and we'll talk about your training needs and get you set up with the free in-home evaluation.
Yep.
But then we've also got the online. So for people that aren't actually in the Memphis area or Nashville or Austin, you're out in the rural areas, you can still access training. And we've got a 28-day challenge.
There it is. You said it right.
I know.
You should have seen her whenever.
The 28 dog day challenge. And a tongue twister.
Yeah.
But it's a 28-day dog training challenge.
Yeah, we need to put up Sally's blooper reel because we were talking about blooper reels before we shot this, because I shot the intro like 3 times today. And there was one day that we were shooting ads and you could just not get out. We filmed the intro to that video probably like 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
28 dogs day challenge.
Yeah. And it's not that.
20 dogs. And then you'd be like 20-day dog training challenge. I'm like, that was perfect wording, but no, it's 28-day dog training challenge. So very fun. But anyways, if y'all want to check that out, it's all the same great training you would get if we were right there in your home. It's just done on your screen and done at your own pace. And that's trainmywonderdog.com. So if you need help with training, you can go there. But yeah, guys, it's been fun. Please feel free to, like I said, share the show, subscribe, whatever it is. And thank you so much. And we will see y'all next week.
See you next time.
All right.
Bye.